Hi, it's Laura Donnelly from Dancing with Ease Body Brain Balance, here with day 198 of Strange and Interesting Times. I keep repeating days. I don't know if you don't feel like this, but part of this whole COVID thing is this kind of time warp, time loop. Things are repeating, but and time is passing. I mean, like we had snow the last couple of days, so summer is over. The garden is done. My flowers are over. But some stuff just feels like it's not moving. It kind of feels like a wagon with one flat wheel. So you're going and like one flat side, and it seems like it's okay, and then thunk. And then thunk again. So it's not terrible, but it just doesn't feel like things are in alignment. It doesn't feel terrible. It doesn't feel great. And I have been talking to people, a number of people who are kind of stressed. I just laugh a lot because it just seems so strange. And the other day I was talking to a friend and I said, I wonder how this is going to look 20, 30, 40 years from now when people look back at this history. I mean, we really are living through something pretty unprecedented in terms of the ability to document what's happening. So that's one of the things that I sometimes do is I kind of go around to the side and I look at this as if it was an historical event. And I think, I wonder what people will say. Who is going to show up as people that made a positive difference? Who is going to show up as maybe someone invents the vaccine and they are a hero. Maybe they're a hero right now, but I read something about the vaccine for the swine flu that caused that there were a number of side effects that people in Germany are still dealing with. And so then sometimes somebody who appears to be a hero, later down the line, it comes into the effect that maybe this was too fast of a decision, And there's so much we can't control. My cousin and I were talking today about nursing homes and the fact that they don't want to let anybody in to visit their family. But they let all of the staff go in and out, day in and day out. So the facility is not safe. The facility is not prevented from an exchange with the outside world, which could bring the COVID germs into the facility. And so then, then my brain says, well, if you wanted to secure that facility, I mean, I have friends who are living in their homes in a very, very secure way. And they have even family members who bring groceries and they put them in the garage, and the family member leaves the groceries in the garage for one, if it's dry goods, for a day or so that any germs on the groceries can dissipate. And then they bring the groceries in their house. And they aren't even really seeing their family members. And this is a choice. But they have chosen to sequester and to prevent the transfer into their house of a lot of outside germs. This is a choice. But what about everybody who's got a job that's an essential worker job? They're going here, they're going there. They have to go here and there. All they can do is take as good a care of themselves as they can. So, I don't know. Here, I do know, I've talked to somebody today who's really a wonderful person, and she's going to be a guest on the Healing Path coming up, which will be really great. And we were talking about how pain is different for every person. what is upsetting to one person might not be upsetting to another person. Sometimes it might even be funny to another person or an adventure to another person, and it's incredibly painful to someone else. And we were talking about this as part of the healing path, that we don't know anybody else's pain. We know our pain or our not pain. Now, I did have to figure out for myself, I have a really high tolerance for physical pain and mental pain and emotional pain. I grew up somewhere where you were supposed to be tough. Things happened and you just had to keep going, and you had to be tough. And it was exactly how everything was. It wasn't anything different than anyone else around me was doing. But what happened from that is I learned, and I was an athlete, a dancer, and I learned to ignore a certain amount of physical pain. Once I walked home six blocks on a broken foot, because it didn't hurt that bad. You know, my mom was working. I didn't want to interrupt her till she was done working. She was kind of appalled. She says, why didn't you tell me when you came home? I said, well, that hurt that bad. You know, we went to the doctor, they x-rayed it, you know, there's a little crack in my foot. But over time, actually, she and I started to talk about this. And our definition of pain is not the same as other people's definition of pain. Now, part of this is good because you can keep going. I also have a whole slew of cowboys in my family, and I got to tell you, they will keep going through just about anything. Those are some tough people. And in a situation, life and death, you have a cut, you have a ding, you have maybe a broken bone, you just kind of hold it close to yourself and keep going because that's what you need to do. But if something's going out of balance, this is where I had to learn more fine-tuning for myself. You can really injure yourself if you work on injury. So like if you have a sore muscle, that's a warning that something's out of balance. But if you keep going and it gets more sore and more sore, you might actually tear it. And that's not great. Actually, makes a worse injury. So if you back up and you look at the messages from your body, not in this good or bad, it's not good to be too sensitive. It's bad to be over tolerant to pain. You know, I would just don't make any rules. Don't make any rules about it. Just listen to your body. When you listen to your body, it will give you messages and feedback, and you can easily make adjustments. Sometimes you can easily make adjustments. I have been in situations that were really challenging and difficult, where making a change wasn't possible. I've been in some really intense work situations that were compressed. The thing I had to do to myself to get through that situation was to just I call it turtling, you know, but to pull my head down, I pull my shoulders in, and I just keep going. It was really bad for me, But sometimes you don't have a new job. Sometimes you don't have an alternative to changing yet. But if I assumed that compensating energy and behavior was normal, or I did it long enough until it felt normal, then I have made a compensating behavior. I've turned it into a habit, and I have taken myself that was fairly okay, shifted onto a side track, and compressed in and pushed down, and I'm going forward, not in a direction I wanted to go. So as I said, I have been talking to people who are dealing with all kinds of things. Families dealing with challenging work situations. Maybe 2 or 3 adults are trying to work from home in the same house. dealing with maybe not great internet, not super speedy internet, or not having a large enough space to have good sound buffers and barriers. Maybe they have kids in school who are homeschooling. And so they're trying to work at home. They're trying to have meetings, and their kids trying to have meetings at school. The kids need help. This is challenging. I have several friends who are what they call in a panini position, which is a sandwich smashed in the middle. You know that paninis are really good to eat, but being a human panini is not great. This is like being in a grill and the grill is pressing up from the bottom and pressing down from the top. These are people who have kids of whatever age, and they're working to care for adult parents. This is very, very challenging. I have some friends who are caring for grandkids and caring for parents. So there's bonuses. Hey, Donita, great to see you. There's bonuses in that the kids get to know their grandparents. They have the opportunity to do that. They also have the opportunity to understand aging, to understand transitions, to support their parents as their parents care for their parents. But this can be challenging, can be very hard, can be frustrating, can be very complex, dealing with a lot of unknown things. How about all of the unknown things about getting help, about school? I mean, the schools right now, the schools change left and right. We're going to school. We're not going to school. We're going to school, but at Thanksgiving, everybody's going to go home and do finals online. How do you deal with this? How do you manage? How do you stay on track? I have my secret sauce, which is to pay attention to myself, to notice when I start to go off track, to pay attention to ease in my system, which is a kind of self-regulating for all of your body systems. Regulates your breath. It allows your digestion to work better. It allows the blood flow to go better. If you apply the ease to your emotions, you discover when you're put yourself on this hamster wheel and are going round and round and round with ideas that cause more stress. There's a couple of easy questions you can ask. So like, instead of how do I solve this, which indicates that there's a solution and a non-solution and you're stuck. So I wonder what happens if I try this. I wonder what happens if I try that. I wonder what happens if I try this other thing. And then it suddenly is an exploration. And you can open up yourself and the situation to new solutions. This isn't really hard to do, but it takes some mental fortitude and a clear decision to pay attention and to, it's like, actually it's like riding a horse. And if you're riding the horse and the horse wants to eat grass, you're on the horse, and while you're riding, you're not supposed to let them eat the grass. It's a bad habit, and if they have the bit on, it makes a big mess in their mouth. So you have to tell them not to. And then you might be walking by, and there might be some green stuff on the side, and they reach to go to the side, and you have to bring them back to the center and say no. And then there's some grass down below, and they want to dip their head down, and you have to pull their head up. But we're not stopping, we're keeping walking. So it's a constant paying attention to the horse, to the road, to the things in the road, and to the horse's reaction to the things in the road. So our mind is like the horse. And if it has something that it thinks is a problem, you know how, well, so if you can remember how long ago is when you had a loose tooth, and you would use your tongue and you would wiggle it. And even when you weren't wiggling it, you could feel that it was loose because it didn't feel quite right. So you kept going back and wiggling it. And you were kind of stuck on that tooth. This is how our mind is. It gets stuck on an idea that doesn't help us, that actually causes extra tensing inside of our system. And then we're down the road, stuck in that extra tensing. And it's like a feedback loop. So if you find yourself in some feedback loops and you would like some help getting out, I would be happy to talk to you. You can send me a personal message in Facebook. You can email me. I'll put my email in the comments. Or you can put in the comments, hey, I'd like to chat with you, and we'll connect up. Because this work that I do lifts off the fear from pressing down. It doesn't eliminate anything. Everything that's here is always still here. Our past is here. Our goofy things we do are here. Like I tore my ACL, it's not going to magically not have been torn. I can't erase the past. But I can work with what is here in the most effective way possible. And when I do that, I have more energy. I'm happier. I have more joy. And I am really excited to be able to share this, that I have been fortunate to learn and to be taught I've had this information taught to me by other people. And I am committed to passing it on to other people and to sharing and to making people happy and free from the cycles of stress and overwhelm and anxiety and fear about the unknown. So if you want to hear more, just type me in the comments or send me a personal message and I will get back to you. Thank you very much for listening today, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day 199. Oh, I said I was going to have some kind of a party on day 200. Oh, I better think about that. I better think about that. And then I guess whatever happens, I'm going to go to day 365 just for fun to see if I can do it. I know. And I forgot, Anita, I did day 196 twice. So today is 198. So there was no 197. But you see, I'm just here. So that's good enough. Take good care. Have a nice evening. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.